What is up, Squared Nation? Welcome back to No Counters, No Combos. And today we're finally back in like our recording studio, recording room, game room, whatever you want to call it. I just call it the dad cave. It's just kind of grown on me. We have some, acoustic panels in the back. We have the Shenron pop. We have some, some stuff down here. This is where I kind of just like have all of my gadgets and gizmos and stuff like that. So we decided to go ahead and reposition everything so we can have like a dedicated space to make content. So we're finally up and running, and I couldn't be more happy than to start bringing you guys content from here. So thank you basically for being patient with me and sitting through just the boring screens and whatnot as I go over cards and deck profiles. But we should be backing up and running here. So today we're actually going to be talking some tech. Before we get started real quick, I just want to direct you guys to the link tree in our description box down below. That's going to take you to our Discord links, Facebook links, Instagram, Twitter, our coupon codes for Loot Crate and Your Playmat. If you guys want to follow us on our other social media platforms, or if you want to go ahead and join the Discord, I'm going to be using the Discord a lot more frequently now, with updated deck profiles, just, keeping my pulse on the community that's there. So I might reach out to everybody, just kind of see where everybody's at, as far as gauging the passion that we all have for this game. So feel free to just check all those out. I would really appreciate it. So we're going to talk tech today. Last week, I went ahead and took my best stab at Life Flip Frieza, which I got to say, I didn't win any games. It was fun playing the deck. I can kind of see where it needs to go in order to make it a little better, but there's not much you can really do with it, right? But before that, I was experimenting a lot with SS4 Bardock. Now, I know he just recently won a Carta Magica event. Shout out to his name is escaping me right now. I know he's from Puerto Rico, though. Shout out to him for piloting the deck to a first-place finish. That deck's going to start seeing a lot more play, in my opinion. So ever since that top, I started looking at it. And obviously, there's, your prototypical list with your multicolored check lands and stuff like that and your SS4 targets. But I wanted to see if I can kind of push the envelope a little bit and approach it in a different way. So I've been experimenting with a couple different builds, which I'm going to be posting in the Discord, updated lists and stuff like that. So I don't have to keep bombarding the channel with the same updated deck profile, so on and so forth. But one card in particular that's been performing very well for me lately is Black Mass Saiyan Spirit Boost Minion. I'm going to pop the card on the screen for you guys right now. It actually came out in the SS3 Bardock Mass Saiyan Reboot structure deck. But he's actually really interesting. So if we take a look at this card, he's a 1 cost, 1 specified yellow, 4,000 power, 0 cost 5k combo battle card. He has a permanent where it states if your leader is Mass Saiyan or Bardock Xeno, you can treat this card in your hand as if it has no specified cost. So that's really interesting. And then he has an auto when this card attacks. You can take a life, add it to your hand, and then he gains 11,000 power for the turn, so it makes him a 15k attacker. And then he has a Spirit Boost effect. Spirit Boost, activate main once per turn. You can remove a marker from a unison you control and restand him. So he's a 15k dual attacker, essentially, if you control a unison on board. The reason I think he's very interesting is because he gives you a turn 1 play in a deck that doesn't necessarily have a turn 1 play that you need to use energy for. A lot of the times you're charging a card in SS4 Bardock and just kind of resolving SS4 call if you have it, or just kind of charge pass. There's not really much you could do. I know some people are playing True Fighting Spirit, which is the Goku count with the 1-drop Goku that if your opponent activates a counter, they have to warp a card. That's all fine and dandy. That's fine if you want to go ahead and go that route. But the reason I like Black Mass Saiyan is because he's a yellow battle card that you can play for 1 that's going to, help you self-awaken. You might not need it in the deck, obviously, because of the alt awakening condition. But once you flip early, you can start utilizing your life as a resource to go ahead and push for more damage. What I found in my testing and my playing the deck, at least the way I play the deck, is there's not a lot to do in those early turns until you start resolving your SS4 effects. Now, I could be playing the deck completely wrong, but obviously for me, the way I've been playing it is it's very responsive to what your opponent wants to do, and you kind of just want to focus your early turns on trying to stop them from setting their board and set up their game state, and just kind of play reactive as opposed to proactive. That's why you have filter cards like Saiyan Instincts, and some people are also playing the card's escaping me right now, but there's not a lot of room for tech options that are proactive. So Saiyan Instincts is a perfect card because you could just tap 2 energy to draw 2 in a deck that doesn't inherently draw a lot of cards on its own. So I kind of wanted to see if there was a world where I can have an early game, and then obviously my ultimate like condition to get to would be my Gogetas, my 8 drop or my 10 drop. So Black Mass Saiyan Spirit Boost Minion allows me to have a turn 1 play that I can use aggressively to take life, to add to hand. It's going to also help me get to my super combos a lot sooner. It's going to help me to get to my super combo range on my terms, because there's a lot of times where you'll stay at 5 or 6 life and you can't activate your super combos. So you want to get to 4 as efficiently as possible. So being able to mitigate damage and trigger one of your effects off of one of your battle cards is a good, efficient way of taking life, so you can put yourself in super combo range. But I found that the best thing that Black Mass Saiyan gives you is a color on board. Now, when we look at Prismatic Striker, which is the Bardock leader, he needs to have 4 different colors in order to awaken. So obviously you're charging multicolor turn 1, so that gives you 2, and then from then on you're getting 1 specific color. So the good thing about having a yellow card that you can put into your battle area is you don't have to charge yellow that early to meet the requirement to awaken. Because his permanent reduces the specified cost in hand, you can essentially tap any color to play him, as long as your leader meets that requirement. So you can charge blue turn 1, which will give you black and blue. You can charge green turn 2, which is going to give you that green. And then if you decide to play your Mass Saiyan out on turn 1, you'll have a yellow card on board. So turn 1, you can tap out for him. Obviously, if he survives, great. That's what you want to do. But if you force your opponent to remove him, that's one resource that they're using to get rid of your battle card. It's not really doing much for you right then and there, but it's another way of getting a quicker awakening. There's a lot of testing that I've been doing recently where I'll just play him out turn 1, my opponent ignores him, and then I awaken turn 2 and start, going off to the races. Now, you do have to be careful, because once your Bardock is flipped to his backside, you do not draw cards unless he sees 4 colors. So you want to make sure you time it properly, or you want to make sure that you put yourself in a position to where you can force yourself to charge all the colors before that Mass Saiyan gets cleared off the board, because then you're going to essentially be missing 1 color. So it is one of those decks where you have to sequence it out properly, but I prefer to have the option of doing it and not need it than need it and not have it. So it's just one of those things where I think there's a lot of different ways you can look at the deck from the outside looking in. Obviously, you want to jam in your SS4 targets as much as possible, because not only does your leader search it, but it's what's going to forward your strategy, right? But there are a lot of other cards that people should start taking into consideration. I really do also like, in the same structure deck, the 5-drop Mass Saiyan that came out. We'll probably do a tech talk video on him as well, because he's a blue target that you can play. Now, you do need to have a Unison on board to get him out with the Spirit Boost effect, so you do need to probably pivot that on turn 2. Like, you're not going to be able to play that turn 1, but it just gives you another color on board so that you can go ahead and try to turbo your awaken even sooner. So I really like Black Mass Saiyan Spirit Boost Minion, because he gives you options. I think the best way of approaching deck building in a game where you're trying to limit yourself, you're trying to play on a budget or whatnot, whatever your philosophy to deck building is, I think it's nice to look at everything as a whole to give yourself the best options, because people aren't going to be expecting certain plays. If you're playing against a mirror match, you're assuming that the matchup is going to go the same way, because you're playing the same 50 or 60 cards, whatever your deck list comes out to. that's when tech choices start making a huge difference in mirror matches and best of threes, and being able to kind of have that one drop that can either force damage or get you down to a reasonable life total so you can start awakening and activating your super combos is, I think, something that people should consider. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one that has experimented with this card, but I want to know what you guys think about it. Are you also experimenting with the 5-drop Massane that also came out in the structure deck? And are there any other strategies that we should be looking at as a whole? Since it is an archetype that focuses on SS4, there are a lot of other cards that are SS4 in the game that are not just multicolor and came out of the anniversary box. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and please hit the notification bell so you can stay up to date with everything No Counters, No Combos. Guys, real quick before we get out of the video, I rarely ask this, I never ask this. I would really like to get to 2,500 subs by the end of the year. I think at the time of making this video, we're sitting at 2,351. I never really set like sub goals or anything like that, but I would just like to really see that nice round number, 2,500 by the end of the year. So if you guys haven't subscribed, feel free to do so. We're going to be bringing you content as consistently as possible. And I would just really appreciate it, you know, from the bottom of my heart. I wouldn't be here without you guys, without the support of the community. And I'm looking forward to a really nice 2022 in the Dragon Ball Super card game. We'll see you guys in the next video. Be there or be square.